Nerede buldun? Ha onun tavanında değil mi? Tamam.
Evet.
Tamam anladım.
Hi dear hikers, we are now in Sidyma with Kate Clow, who is very famous among hikers for being the first person to mark the whole Lycian Way that stretches from Fethiye all the way to Antalya. Now we want to ask her some questions. First of all, what do you want to say about Lycian Way to both foreign hikers and Turkish hikers?
Okay, the first thing I should say is the Lycian Way is not just one route. It's based on the routes between the Lycian cities of this area. There were about 27 major cities in this area, and we have managed to discover the old roads that ran between most of them. But in addition to these old roads, the Lycian Way also uses forestry roads, footpaths, goat tracks, and all other sorts of track. It's a steep route, and in places it's very narrow and rocky, so it's not a particularly easy route. But it has great views across the sea and into the mountains, and it's brings you into contact with lots of villagers and the people of Likya, who will look after you very well. And Turkish misafirperverlik is very famous, and in this area you will really make some new friends.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you. Secondly, I would like to ask, what is your biggest recommendation for people that want to hike Lycian Way?
Don't hike in summer. Climate change is happening very fast in Turkey. The summers are getting much hotter. The winters are getting much more suitable for trekking. The best trekking seasons are probably from February to April, and again in October, November, and the beginning of December. And at those times the route is just wonderful. But hiking in August or July is dangerous. Nearly every year someone dies on the Lycian Way from heat stroke.
Yeah.
So it's not that the Lycian Way itself is dangerous, it's that the weather is very, very dangerous.
Yeah. Also being well prepared and preferably not hiking alone, right?
I always hike alone.
At least for non-experienced hikers, maybe.
I don't think that makes a huge difference.
Okay.
I think the important thing is to make sure you know where you're going, to have an application which shows the route in its proper condition. Any application that's based on OpenStreetMap will show you the exact latest version of the route. You can also go to our website, cultureroutesinturkey.com, and we will send you the latest tracks, and also you can buy guidebooks from that site. It's really important that you have some method of navigating, an application, a decent phone, and a backup to the phone so that you can recharge the batteries.
Indeed.
And also a map. The other thing I would say is that the Lycian Way has changed a lot recently. It's had to change because the government keeps giving permission for building new taş ocağı mines for stone or marble, or for building new forest roads, and these damage the route. So we've changed the route quite a lot in different places. So you must make sure you have the up-to-date version of the route and not rely on information that may be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years old. And that's especially information that's on Wikiloc. Most of that information is inaccurate.
Yes.
So get a good application, get a good phone and a backup. But also look for the marks. I live on the Lycian Way, and many times people walk past my house and there is a mark just at the corner of my house and they do not see it because they're too busy looking at their phone.
Yeah. Lastly, I would like to ask, why did you do all this great work for Lycian Way? Why did you mark it?
Because I saw that in Europe, especially in France, after the war, many local clubs and volunteers started to preserve the walking routes in France. And they turned them into things called the Grand Randonnées, which were long distance routes running right across France. There are many of these routes, and one of the first ones I walked was called Grand Randonnée 10, and that is in the Pyrenees. The Pyrenees are very much like the mountains of Likya, the Taurus Mountains. They're limestone mountains, they have lots of trees on the north side, and the Grand Randonnée 10 is in some ways similar to the Lycian Way. So I wanted people in Turkey to have a route like Grand Randonnée 10 that they could walk around the coast of Likya and to discover long distance walking. But when I made the route, the Turks didn't walk. There were no, between 1999 and when the route opened in 2005, there were no Turks walking on the route at all.
Oh.
And it wasn't until one of the universities started walking with their walking clubs that the Turks started to walk.
Okay. So basically a big gift for the Turkish people, but also for all foreign tourists and hikers.
Yeah, but
we could say.
it wasn't meant for foreign hikers. It was meant.
But it ended up like that.
It was meant for something for Turkish
Yeah.
people to remember their past.
Yeah.
Because people are moving away from the villages. They go and live in the towns.
Sadly.
They forget how their fathers and their
Yes.
grandfathers walked in the mountains. They forget the old footpaths. They forget the way of life of the older generation. And I wanted to remember that.
Right. Amazing. Thank you so much, Kate Clow, for taking your time.
Okay. Oh, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
We will indeed do. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, cheers. Right.
Båtar i fjärran. Segelbåtar. Vi håller just nu på att gå ner för den här stigen. Om man skulle halka så kommer man antagligen slå i huvudet och dö. Det är väldigt riskfyllt. Bergsjätter. Vi har gått cirka 9,56 kilometer och stigit 424 meter. Och vi räknar med att vara framme i Gauralı, som ligger vid kusten på havsnivå om några kilometer. Nu kan vi äntligen se Patarastranden. Patarastranden är där borta.